Good morning, everybody. Well, it's Sunday and we are in Gravenhurst. The plan is to head up the D trail towards Mary Lake and then cut right and go into Baysville and then come back. So we'll see. But hoping, I found out from Nuns, who's the president of the Snowcrest Riders and also a good buddy of mine, that the trail, their section's been groomed all the way till where they meet the Muskoka snow bombers. So should be pretty good. They have a fair bit of snow here, no complaints. Unfortunately, there's very limited frost in the ground, so that limits what trails they can open. But for now, it's pretty decent. So we will see how the trails are and we'll update you on the trail. So just coming out of Gravenhurst on the C101D, no complaints. Okay, I'm impressed. I am definitely impressed. This is far better conditions than I expected. Waiting for the other guys. I'm with my buddy Doron again, so waiting for them to catch up. The boys at the Snowcrest Riders do an awesome job. No complaints on these trails. They're pretty flat. Just groomed last night. Lots of attractions here in Gravenhurst. Beautiful town. They usually get lots of snow. As you can see, it's like a winter wonderland over here. The snow's falling off the trees. My buddy Andrew was heading home from Sudbury on Sunday, and he goes, yeah, when I came through Gravenhurst, they have like triple the amount of snow we have in Sudbury. So I said, okay, we're going riding there on Sunday, and that's what we did, and I don't regret it at all. I would call this mid-season conditions. Even though they only opened the trail up like 2 days ago. This is perfect. I would call this green, not yellow, but that's just my opinion. Wide and straight, my favorite. Oh man, what else could you ask for? Poor Mike. I tried to convince him to come to Gravenhurst. He's like, nah, I'm gonna ride the trails around here. And I'm like, okay, enjoy. And turns out they're not that great. I guarantee you they're not as good as this. So, okay, so I know I'm gonna get heat for trailering to a different area to ride. I know people are gonna be upset with me, but I'm gonna tell you my side of the story. So my side of the story is, yes, there is a stay-at-home order. Snowmobiling, we know, is essential exercise. Fundamentally, I do not live in an area with snowmobile trails, so I have to travel to ride. Second of all, I bring everything with me. I'm not even stopping for gas today. I brought my own jerry can, I brought my own food. I am not using any resources in the city. I'm not exposing myself to any locals. I'm purely just using the snowmobile trails. So you guys can hate me if you want, but my goal right now is to bring you guys content of trails all over the province. And right now with the stay-at-home order, I'm limited. I'm not going to go anywhere because I can't sleep over. So it's only going to be day rides. And whatever those rides are, they are. But I can't. If I want a snowmobile, I can't stay at home. My district, or my area, I live in the GTA, I don't have trails. So I have to travel to ride. I am going to ride, and I am going to be as safe as I can. Again, the most I'm doing is stopping for gas and putting on a mask and going in to pay if I can't pay at the pump. Besides that, I have no interaction with anyone else besides the people I'm riding with. So that's my take on this. Anyways, let's get back to the trail. This, I believe, is the Muskoka Brewery we're passing right. Yeah, Muskoka Brewery. Lots of snow in Gravenhurst. The one thing I love about Gravenhurst and the Muskoka area is the variety of trails. There's some straight and fast, there's some tight in the trees, and there's some nice steep swooping hills, which is probably my favorite part about riding here. And that's what you miss when you go to Cochrane, because a lot of Cochrane is just straight and fast, and there's not much hills. This section reminds me of the Top A trail when you're coming south of Temagami, or sorry, when you're north of Temagami coming south, and south of Temagami coming into the Rock Pine and Martin River. There are these nice big sweeping hills, and they're just awesome to ride. The only thing you got to be wary of is always slow down and stay to your side at the top of the hill, because you don't want to have any accident and you want to be safe. Especially this year, there's a lot of new riders getting into the sport, so you want to be careful and make sure to stay to your side, slow down around corners, and slow down when you're coming up hills. In these areas especially, there's a lot of tight and twisties, blind corners and blind hills, so just like, please guys, just make sure to slow down and be careful. No one wants to get hurt. Everyone wants to go home to their families, so just do the right thing and be a responsible rider. This is a cool bridge. They can't groom it, that's why it's washboard like this, because the groomer is too wide to fit across. But it's only a small section, no big deal. Look at these hills. Andrew was supposed to come with me today, and then he told me that the warden told him that he had to stay home. So he's missing out on some pretty freaking awesome trails. Yeah, so we are just coming through Bracebridge here. Oh look, that green sled in front of us on the right is my old 18 XRS. Oh man, I can't tell you how good it feels to get out and ride. I had a pretty busy week, super stressed out, and the one thing I love about snowmobiling is it just makes you forget about everything. You just fall in love with the sport, and it's just like the best relaxation you could possibly get. Well, it's not, I wouldn't say relaxation, I mean, like it gets your mind off it when you're snowmobiling. Like, I can't think of anything else except for how excited I am to ride and how much I'm enjoying my time. It's just a huge stress reliever. Helps me deal with my stress and take time off to enjoy the beautiful outdoors that Ontario has to offer. Oh, just passing the Muskoka Snow Bombers groomer shed. And up until this point, trails have been mint. Yep. Yeah, so I was saying, I try to ride as often as I can, and to make you understand that, I have 2,200 kilometers on this machine so far, which is pretty crazy. So, yeah, I got 1,000K out in Cochrane, a few 100K here and there, different day rides, and yeah, this machine, I love it. My review so far is that it is a large improvement over my 18 XRS, especially the way it handles. Yes, it doesn't wheelie as much, but that means that it's a better trail sled. It corners better. It's a more confident riding machine. My 18 XRS, I could never ride it at 80K with one hand. Now I'm like, this machine is very confident. It's not nervous up front as much as it used to be, and around the corners, it bites good, and it doesn't really lift the inside ski as much. That was the one thing I loved about my dad's 2019 Indy Polaris, is that the cornering was just so damn good, and I was pissed off that my machine was just nervous around the corners, and it took more effort to go around that corner at the same speed. And with this machine, I'm finding that it's a huge improvement. The inside ski really does not lift unless you're going way too fast for that corner. Okay, it's a little bit gravelly in here, a little bit brown, but still absolutely no complaints. Listen, we're out riding. As long as I'm not going through mud, I'm happy. But yeah, back to the sled. This machine is a beast. The power is amazing. The one thing I am gonna do is I am gonna put in 8-inch carbides, because I do have 144 studs and I still have the stock carbides, so I am gonna up that because I find that the machine isn't biting as much as my old one. Now my old one, I had the Pilot TS skis, so I could adjust the carbides. This machine, I don't have that, so I definitely think I am gonna put in the bigger carbides just to give me a little more bite. But besides that, the machine handles amazing. R-Motion, tried and true. In my opinion, the best snowmobile suspension in the industry for trail riding, hands down. The Polaris CC, I just find it's great, and it is really good, and it's the closest they've ever come. Is it exactly as good as R-Motion? Listen, I think they're pretty damn close. I think you'd be happy with both. I've ridden both and put lots of miles on both, and I do find that mine's just a little bit more plush than the Polaris in terms of rear suspension. But again, the front end handling of the Polaris is flawless, and that's what really I like about my dad's machine. But again, because of the amount of miles I've put on the XRS, I'm kind of used to the sitting position on this machine. I find it a little more comfortable for me than my dad's machine, but each to their own. Listen, if I rode that machine every day, I'd get used to it and I'd love it too. Well, that was a new Skidoo EFI engine for this year, which is the new entry class. It's replacing their 550 fan and their 600 carb engines that are long ready for an upgrade. So thank God they did that. And this new 600 EFI puts out 85 horsepower. So it's pretty impressive for an entry-level engine. It does have fuel injection. So yeah, pretty impressed that Skidoo finally did that this year. And again, I'm going to say it, but the handlebar warmers on this machine suck. I had them at half and my hands are burning off right now, so I just turned them off. There is no adjustment with temperature. It's really on or off. That's what I found. So, oh, look at that. There's the poster, Muskoka Snow Bombers Snowmobile Club. Let's take a break. Woo! I love these steep hills. This makes the ride so much more fun. A little more technical, nothing wrong with that. Keeps me interested. So now we're just entering the hill and gully riders terrain, just coming out of the Muskoka Snow Bombers. Those sweeping hills back there are just awesome. Get to get some nice air at the top. As long as you stay to your side, you should be good. Just beware of others and be ready and make sure you're in control the whole time. That's what's important, because you don't want to fly into someone else and get hurt, right? So you got to be safe. I just spoke to Mike on the phone and told him how good the conditions are, and he is jealous. He told me to f*** off. So yeah, he's sitting at home not riding. Just waiting for the guys. So unfortunately, it looks like Hill and Gully did not groom last night. Pretty washboard in here. Again, not terrible, but definitely not what it was from Gravenhurst to here. Snowcrest riders and the Muskoka Snow Bombers definitely groomed last night, and it's evident. Okay, just for fun, even though we're not going this way, I want to go through that bridge. Okay, so we just turned onto the D103B from the D Trail, so we're coming into Port Sydney right now, and then we're going to turn onto the D102B, which will take us into Baysville for gas, and then we might go a little bit further than Baysville east towards Dorset where the trail closes, and then we'll turn around and head back to Gravenhurst where we started. So this part through town is pretty brutal, bare road running. That's why usually most people, including me, bypass it by going on Mary Lake. Mary Lake isn't staked yet, so I'm not going to risk it because I don't know the lake. So we'll have to battle the bare pavement. Much better, nice and smooth. Can't complain with this. Beautiful trail through the trees. So we just entered the Happy Wanderers Snowmobile Club trails, and they're groomed to perfection.
Well, aren't you just fucking decorated out in the set that I wanted? Leapfrogging you all morning.
I like your wrap.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I got the 21, same as you, except for our tracks are different.
What track do you have?
The 1.5 pre-studded.
Nice. I had the 1. I had a 1.5 on my last XRS.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I wanted that yellow so bad. My fucking dealer forgot to order my sled, the cunt. So he gave me the demo unit in black.
What an asshole.
The yellow adventure bumper to put on it. They don't make them anymore.
Still looks pretty slick.
Yeah, it's coming. I got some more. We're going to change all the stickers to yellow.
Cool.
It'll be a little different.
Okay, so we're just at Fred's place, and we are gonna continue trucking on to Baysville. Okay, so we're just at the cutoff to the D102B, which is gonna take us into Baysville. Okay, so we just filled up gas at the XTR in Baysville. We usually go to the Cast Iron for some awesome burgers, but everything is closed because of COVID, so we can't. And now we're heading back the way we came because not all the trails are open, so we can't loop around. So we're gonna head back via the D102B and the D103B to the D trail, and that will take us right down back into Gravenhurst. So we just returned to Muskoka Snow Bombers territory. Basically the trail from the D trail from here, where it turns into Hill and Gully, all the way into Port Sydney and then across to Baysville was moguled out and really bumpy. But this section this morning was pretty mint, so I hope it's mint on the way back. Yeah, so right here, we're at the border of Muskoka Snow Bombers and Hill and Gully, and that is Trail 37, which takes you up to Huntsville. So we're going south on the last 35-kilometer stretch of our day, and I hope to end off on a good note with some nice smooth trails. Even though there's a few stutter bumps here and there here, this is miles better to what it is north of here. We've done about 120K so far, and it looks like my gas meter is telling me that I have just over a half tank. So it's definitely gonna go down quicker from half to empty than it did from half to full. But roughly, if you're not gunning it the whole time, you should get anywhere from 190 to 240, I would say. For me, like when I was in Cochrane, when I ran the canyon, most of the way I'm full throttle, and I get like 170 and I'm bone dry. Top speed of the machine I got today on Mary Lake was 177 kilometers an hour on the Speedo, which translates to 109 miles an hour. But my GPS, which is more accurate than the Skidoo gauge, gave me 102 miles per hour. My 18 XRS, when I blew at the first belt, which was at 2,800K, after that I started blowing belts left, right, and center. I took it to the dealer to see if everything was aligned properly. They told me it was, but I kept blowing belts. I was going through belts every 1,000K. It was brutal. So I'm keeping a close eye on this belt and watching for any signs of wear. And I'll probably, at like 2,600K, I'll probably just swap it into a new belt just in case, because I don't want it to blow. On my last machine, when it blew, it made a nice hole in the belly pan and the skid plate, so it was just like terrible, and I'm trying to avoid that. Yeah, but machine's great. The one thing I do think is with this low windshield up here, it's great for this type of running where it's not really high speed for long periods of time. But if you're up north, no matter how warm it is and you're running quickly, you might not, cold is for sure a factor. You might get cold. The other thing that I find is because I have my helmet comm hanging off my helmet on one side and my GoPro hanging off my helmet on the other side, when you're going over 120K, it pulls your head back and your neck gets tired real quick. So when I'm on the lake and I'm going, I usually have to like scrunch my head down to relieve my neck. But yeah, so what else can I tell you? Love the gauge. Yes, we don't have mapping. It sucks to suck. OFSC hasn't partnered with BRP. Who knows? There's some private reason that we don't know about. There's got to be some politics involved, because when you think about it, you look at the map on BRP Go, and the provinces to the left and right of us, and south of Ontario, and all the states south of Ontario, all have mapping. So something's obviously going on. If I get into Quebec this year, I'll be excited to try that out. But I'm very content with my Garmin Zumo. Does a great job. It's accurate. And it gives me turn by turn. So if I'm doing a big trip, I'll plan it out on my computer, and then I'll throw it onto the GPS, and then when I go on my trip, I can go pick day 1, day 2, day 3, and go, and it will route me exactly to where I want to go, what restaurants I'm going to, what gas stations I want to stop at, all of that. So I really like it. The main thing I've been using the gauge for is music. I like being able to see my music and control my song and volume from the gauge, as well as answer and end phone calls, which is nice. So while I'm waiting for my buddies to show up, a few other things I can show you guys. This phone holder thing up here is awesome. I keep my phone and my e-cigarette in here to keep them nice and warm, and I've had no issue with it. You don't have to have your phone plugged in. It stays nice and warm in that compartment. The other thing that's really awesome is this e-link here. I like it because it's just convenient. I have my my helmet visor plugged in and plugged in on my jacket, and then all I have to do is pull this off the machine and clip it onto my waist, and I'm good to go. So it's just a convenient package. It just makes life easier. You get off the machine, you pull off one cord instead of having to disconnect a bunch of shit. Oh, they are really behind me. I guess I was flying because I was talking to you guys and I got distracted and didn't wait for them. Oops. One of them finally caught up. Where is Doron? That is the question of the day. There he is, pulling in fashionably late. Yeah, so we are just slightly north of Bracebridge. We'll be coming through there in a few minutes. But yeah, all I can say is overall today, all the clubs that we've ridden in, I thank all the clubs because they put in a lot of work to get these trails open. But a special thank you to the Muskoka Snow Bombers and the Snowcrest Riders for grooming the D Trail last night, which made it buttery smooth this morning coming out and going north. And yeah, it was awesome. Remember to always stay between the stakes. That way we protect our landowners and they don't throw us onto a road because people are disobeying their property and pissing them off. Okay, so we're on the final stretch of our ride. The C101D is right here, and this takes us into Gravenhurst. We're just getting off the D Trail, and this will be probably like, I don't know, 4 minutes, and we will be back at the trailer. What a nice way to end the day. Freshly groomed trail coming into town, and we should be coming up onto the groomer any second. Snowcrest Riders giving us the best trails to ride. Awesome club, awesome group of volunteers. There he is, the piston bully. one of the best machines that you can have. Great day of riding, no complaints, and we are back where we started. It's been an awesome day. Happy we came up here, and yeah, thanks for watching.
If you like that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the Sled Addicts YouTube channel, where we release content on everything snowmobiles. Also, hit that bell icon so you can be updated every time we release new videos.